Bam. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the REI Power Hour. I'm your lucky host, Cody Sperber, sitting here with my business partner and one of the greatest real estate investors in the country, Brian Applis. We're here to hang out with you guys for exactly 1 hour. Today, we're going to stick to 1 hour. Sometimes these things go a little long. We do like 2 hours. It's the real estate 2-hour power hour. I'm in the middle of filming a new ad and it's 120 degrees outside. And so I have a strict schedule today. So hold me accountable. We're going to crush this thing. There's not going to be any fluff. I do these real estate power hours every other Thursday as a way to say thank you to you guys. This community has given me so much over the years. You know, I started Clever Investor in 2010. I really started working on it in 2009. And I just was lucky. I got involved at a time where social media was being birthed and email marketing and direct response marketing was just kind of starting and happening. And I was at the right place at the right time. So I grew a big email list. And you guys know I've talked about my email list before. I got over 1 million subscribers on the email list. And this is a way to just say thank you guys, because you guys put up with a lot from me. I write my own copy. So if you guys read my emails, that's me writing crazy shit and sending it to you guys. Sometimes I'm nice and sometimes I'm totally inappropriate. But thank you for allowing me to just be me and allowing that to come through on the email list. And you guys buy a lot of my stuff and you come to our events and you do all kinds of cool stuff. So this is all about you. This has nothing to do with us. There's nothing to buy on this. This is just free training from you guys. Now, Bryant, for those of you that don't know Bryant, he runs our wholesaling company. He runs the real estate business. A lot of times I'm more involved in the money raising, or I'm more involved in like just the higher level team meetings. I'm not on the front lines like I used to be. I'm running multiple companies. And so like the nitty gritty stuff, like when we have 23 projects going, and we need financing and we are selling things and we're buying things and all that stuff. Bryant is there in the trenches. This is what he does full time. And so I like him being on here because he's going to be more in tune with exactly what we're experiencing on our end. And I just kind of want to pull that back today and kind of talk about some things we're experiencing, and then also do some Q&A with you guys and just answer a lot of your guys' questions. If any of you guys are more experienced real estate investors and you have the answer, shout it out, type it in the comment box. Maybe I'll even unmute you and let you have a moment to shine in front of the other people here, and we can all kind of coach each other. One of the biggest recommendations I have for you guys right now is turn your cameras on, turn your cameras on, turn your cameras on. I want to see your faces. I also highly recommend that you use this opportunity for some networking. Some of you guys have nailed it. Let me see who's
Debbie Smith, New Jersey.
Debbie Smith, New Jersey. All right, perfect. I know where Debbie is located. Debbie, are you doing deals in New Jersey? Is that where you're trying to do deals? Okay, so she's trying to do deals in New Jersey. It makes sense. She put New Jersey on there. So if I was in the crowd and I was in New Jersey, I would privately DM Debbie and say, yo, I'm Cody. Good to meet you. What's good? Let's swap contact information. Maybe we can co-wholesale a deal together. Maybe I'm looking for money and you have money. Maybe you need a buyer on a property and I can help you move it. There's lots of synergy in these rooms. We do a monthly meetup that's physical here in our office. We do it once a month. It's called the Deal Exchange. We have about 120 people show up, somewhere right around there. We can't always do that. So instead, we do these Zoom calls, and you gotta be aggressive. Let me tell you, by far, this business is so simple. By far, my best deal flow has always come from relationships, right? Over the years, it's always come from relationships. So the fact that you guys aren't more aggressive on the networking kind of like blows my mind, because that was the whole thing. Like I went to every RIA event, every local meetup. I didn't care if there was 2 people at a Waffle House at 7 in the morning on a Sunday. I was showing up and I was the 3rd person and we were just networking. Some of my best relationships happened when I went to a RIA meeting and I was super uncomfortable and I didn't want to really go and it was hot outside, but I forced myself to go. And I met one person there for the whole 2 hours I was there. And that one person was like, you want to go grab food after this? And I'm like, yeah, let's go get a beer and some food. That relationship turned out to be 20, 30, 40 deals over the next decade.
Let's talk about meetups. Let's talk about having the intention before just showing up and going to a meetup. What meetup is the best one for you, right? Are you going to go to a realtor meetup? Are you going to go to a mortgage lender meetup? Are you going to go to a marketing and business meetup? Like, figure out what you're lacking in your business and who you're looking for, and write that down and go with the intention to meet. I'm going to meet 3 realtors and I'm going to tell them exactly what my buy box is, and I'm going to have them go and hunt for deals and bring them to me. And that's what I want to accomplish out of this meetup. And where can I find realtors? Well, I can find realtors at realtor meetups, right? So go to Eventbrite, go to meetup.com, figure out where the next realtor events are. If you're a licensed agent, then go show up at those events. If you're not a licensed agent, still go show up to events and say, I'm not an agent, however, I'm a buyer and I'm looking for agents to bring me deals. And you can double dip your commissions and represent me on the buy side and the list side when I sell the property. So it's just one of those things where you have to go in with intent, not just go and show up and say, I did this. Hey, honey, I'm not going to be home till 8 o'clock tonight because I got an event from 5 to 7 all the way an hour away, without going with some intent. Like, make sure that you know, look, I'm there to meet contractors and I'm going to a contractor meetup. I need a floor guy, an HVAC guy. You know, I'm going with the intent to go to a lending meetup because I need to figure out better lenders for my manufactured homes and my mobile homes. And, you know, people need to make sure that I have lending opportunities for deals with just $50,000 mortgages, because that's a big holdup. Well, guess what? There's mortgage companies that will loan for just $50,000 mobile homes, but you don't know that until you have the intent to go find something. So just write down in your business what you're lacking, and each week just put a little bit of, you know, motion forward to get that, and it all comes together. It's one step at a time. Real estate's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, I love that. I was aggressive. You're like one of the best networkers I know. I was like more creative, I would say. Like, I would go, because I didn't have a lot of money in the beginning, so I would go like buy a shirt and I would get a Sharpie and I'd write shit on my shirt.
Who's done that?
Like I was just like scrappy, you know, and I would write like crazy shit on my shirt so people would see it and they'd be like, oh, I'm gonna come talk to that guy.
Who's heard of the Raising Private Money group with Amy Majori? RPM. By a show of hands, or type 1 in the comments. If you haven't heard about it, definitely check out RPM with Amy Majori. She has us wear t-shirts at all her events, and everywhere we go, to the mall, anywhere, it says, ask me how to get double-digit returns
backed by real estate.
Backed by real estate. And it's just a t-shirt that you wear, and people come up to you and you're like, oh crap. So it is the walking billboards.
That's it.
Speaking of t-shirts, that was a past life of mine.
That's right. Yeah.
I used to own a t-shirt business for 15 years, and it is all about networking, getting the branding out.
Yeah. And I mean, keep it simple. Like, I sell houses to investors, and on the back, ask me how, right? Like, something simple. But like, when I see people show up and they leave and they don't have 2 or 3 the Clever Store.
Is it not working? The store?
You know, I took it down. Yeah.
Oh shoot. We got a whole bunch. Come to one of our live events. We're going to start hosting live Clever Labs again at our event center, and we'll be getting you guys some information. We'll have tons of merch at those events.
Yeah. But listen, who out of you guys right now has actively completed a deal in the last 30 days? If you haven't, just be quiet for a minute. But who has actively done a deal in the last 30 days?
And that could be a wholesale deal. That could be a lending deal. That could be a traditional real estate deal as an agent, anything.
Okay. So right now we have 4 or 5 people that have actively done a deal in the last 30 days. All right. There's a couple more trickling in. Okay. I've done 2. Good job, James. That's amazing. That's awesome. Sherman said he's done it. So like, really only a very small handful, less than 10 people, unless you guys just aren't playing full out, Grant says I'm
What-
sending a contract now.
What
Good
was,
job.
what was the lead source from the 10 people that got a deal done? Can you put your lead source down? Was it PPC? Was it a cold call? Was it an agent that brought you an opportunity? People love to understand how you got the deal, right? Was it a for sale by owner? Were you calling expired listings and working creative offers with expired listings and seller finances? How did you get these deals from another wholesaler? I always like to reverse engineer every transaction, like show me a HUD and let me dive in to see who got paid.
Networking with a yellow letter.
Okay.
One person said Zillow, another one said a wholesaler. Okay, agents and wholesaler. Expired and SOI. What's SOI?
Referral from an agent,
Yeah.
wholesaler, subdivided the land.
What's SOI stand for, Cody? I want to know what SOI is. Sphere of influence. Got it. Okay. Look, first off, couple thoughts on that. How many hours are you actively calling potential sellers? Every single one of you on here, if you want to get deals, the beginning path is always finding ugly houses and looking up the owners and calling them. That's always like phase one. Like when you're trying to learn this business and you're trying to like figure out like how to get deals. Networking and meeting agents and meeting wholesalers and meeting people down at the foreclosure auction that are buying distressed houses, like that's one path, right? It's like who's already more experienced and they found the deal and then maybe I can help them move it. All right, that's one path. The path to going and sourcing your own deals starts with ugly houses. It always did, it always will. Yes, there's technology. Yes, there's paid ways to send direct mail and do pay-per-click and all this marketing that you can do. But before you ever spend $1 on marketing, you need to practice. Back in the day, we would just call Craigslist leads, right? But now it's harder and harder to do that because, they're just not as good of leads as they used to be. And so now what we do is we go out and we farm an area. We pull all the older houses, the ugly houses, the distressed houses, the houses, like we're driving around and driving for dollars and we see an ugly house. Like my Deal Automator software comes with an app. That app gives you the ability to stand in front of a house, type in the address, see, like skip trace the owner, get all of their contact information. It allows you to send a piece of direct mail directly from the front of the house. It allows you to pick up the phone and call them. It has all the tax information. It has all the comps. It has everything you need.
Even AI.
Even AI. It'll do AI scores right in front of the house. So if you are struggling right now to get a deal, it's just a grind. You got to get out and go find a list. Your homework is to go find a list of 20 or 30 or 50 ugly houses that look distressed or looked abandoned. Write down the address. If you're feeling froggy and you have the AI real estate system with the Deal Automator and the app, you're going to be standing in front of their house and you're going to be looking up the addresses, skip tracing them, looking up tax records, looking up comps, looking at the AI score, and you're going to contact that owner. And you're either going to call them or you're going to send some mail to them. But I promise you, if you did that with 50 houses, you're probably going to get a deal, maybe 2. That's the path of least resistance. But the challenge is most people don't put in that grind. They're like, oh, I don't want to talk to people. Like you should be talking to people for 2 to 3 hours every single day of the week, 7 days a week.
Let's kind of back up a second. I want to talk about, to me, I don't want to necessarily be driving around neighborhoods, just looking at ugly houses, right? That's just me. Some of you guys may love that, right? And that's the best way to do it. But what about the mailman? What about the pest control guy? What about the mold restoration, or even like a photographer that takes pictures for, agents for the MLS and he's just hanging out in neighborhoods? What about the trash guy? What about that guy that picks up trash at every single house? Could that guy or girl take a photo of a house and text it to you and then you can pay them a deal finder fee if once you load it into the deal automator software and send the postcard to the seller and get a deal done, and it tracks that that deal came from that, you know, garbage man. So it doesn't have to be you driving the neighborhoods getting 3 to 5 pictures a day. It's you getting an army of other people that are obviously already out in the neighborhood, solar sales guys that are door knocking, anybody that comes to your home and tries to sell you something, convert them into take a picture, text me of any ugly house that you got, and I'll make sure you get $500 if I get a deal closed.
Yeah, I love that, Brian. But like, look, dude, every time I've ever tried to outsource anything in the beginning, I've always failed.
Yep.
Nobody ever works as hard as you're going to work.
Yep.
Can I be frank with you guys? Can I cuss on this? Like, can I just talk direct to you for a minute? Like, without like walking on eggshells because you guys are going to like get offended. Can this be the safety tree?
Like Jordan says, fuck yeah.
I just don't want to offend you. I'm not doing it to be rude or crass. I'm doing it because sometimes entrepreneurs just got to be direct. And if you don't have the drive, the ambition, the ability to get out of your own fucking way. Oh, I don't like to talk to people. It's hot outside. I don't want to drive around and look at ugly houses. Like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and get in your car and go write down 50 addresses and do it by tomorrow. And skip Tracy's motherfuckers and call them. You're going to get deals. You're broke because you're in your own way. You're broke because you got this like lens or this belief system. Like, I'm going to find an Uber driver to fucking give me addresses. Like, no, get out and go find some fucking ugly houses. Get on the phones and talk to these people. You're going to get told no. You're going to get told to fuck off. You're going to get hung up on. Good. Get some war wounds. Be an entrepreneur. If nobody's going to roll out the red carpet for you, nobody owes you anything. You don't deserve anything. You're fucking worthless right now. You guys are all a bunch of newbies that haven't done shit, haven't made any real significant money in your lives. And even me, even him at this point, we don't go in the front door. The front door is fucking locked. It's closed. Rich people shut it and locked it and said, don't come in here. You got to come in the side door. You got to be creative. You got to figure out the hustle. We got to see that energy and that passion. You got to show up, beat up. And wow, this motherfucker's relentless. Like, he's not stopping. He is calling for 3 hours a day, every day for 90 days. He built that muscle. She built that muscle. And by talking to 1,000 owners, by sitting, you know how many times I sat at a kitchen table, only get told no after 2 hours of putting in work, and I left with no contract signed, embarrassed, pissed off, wasting all that time. That was my mindset. Fuck, I wasted the time. And then here comes Walt, this old ass old timer who's been selling door-to-door Ginsu knives his whole fucking life. And he walks right in, overcomes every objection, builds rapport, gets the contract signed, and walks out with a 30, 50K deal. And I'm sitting there going, fuck, how did he do it? He had skills, he had capabilities, and he put in 35 years worth of work. So who am I to say that I'm supposed to get the deal over that guy? I gotta put in the reps. But what happened over time of being embarrassed, getting a gun pulled on me, getting laughed off a doorstep, sitting in my piece of shit Nissan pickup truck, crying by myself, crying because with snot bubbles, like because nobody fucking likes me and nobody wants to give me money and nobody wants to give me a deal. And here I am, poor Cody. You know, it's like how stupid are we? Like I'm a white male in America and I'm crying in my pickup truck because my life is so tough.
Wait, are you saying that I can't just give a business card to an Uber driver and have him bring the deal to me?
I'm just saying, you guys know what it takes to make money. Apply it towards this business. Like the people I like working with that come in, like even our interns, they don't just call one time and they're like, can I intern with you? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Show up on Monday. You're lucky you. They call 6,000 times. They show up unannounced with fucking food and gifts and just hang out. And you're like, will you leave us the fuck alone? And he won't leave. And so then it's like, all right, fine. Sit at this desk and call these numbers and let's go. Because that's the energy they're showing up with, that relentless, I'm going to do this energy. So my recommendation for you guys, when I ask, how many of you guys have done a deal? All 182 of you should all simultaneously been on, I'm on my 6th deal this month. Because the deals are out there. This bullshit story that there's no deal flow is just false. There is a wholesaler in your town that's getting 10, 20, 30 deals. And she doing it right now. And that's what's happening. You're not getting it because you don't have the skills. You don't have the rapport building. You don't have the influence. That's why two Thursdays ago, we went over just sales skills, like how to talk on the phones. Now I'm going to answer your questions here in a minute. But I think the personal development side of things, like what's the most important real estate in the world? This, right? I go over to my dad's house. My dad's old. We're totally different. I'm conservative. I'm Republican. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm aggressive. I'm all these things. He's liberal. He's loving. He's a hugger. He hugs trees. He hugs people. Like he's that guy. And I love our differences. But I go over to his house 24/7. He's got CNN on. And I'm like, nothing wrong with watch what you want. But if your only inputs are all day negative news, all day this, no wonder he's like stressed out all the time. And like when we talk, it's about those kind of things where it's like, we got to protect our peace. We got to put the right inputs in our mind. When you're driving, are you listening to rap music or rock and roll music? Or are you listening to a podcast to better yourself, to increase your skills? Are you, when you're sitting on the toilet, are you just fucking off on social media? Or are you actually using that net? Tony Robbins calls it net time, no extra time. People that are like, I'm too busy, I don't have time to call. It's like when you're taking a shit, make your calls, right? Like just figure it out. But every second of my day, I'm putting the right inputs in my body because I want to be ripped, rich, and rare. I want to dominate. I want to be a gazillionaire. I want my kids to look at me and go, holy shit, my dad's a superhero. I want to grow up to be just like him. This is why I'm so hard on you sometimes. Like, I'm like, if you are my business partner, I have standards of what that means to be in my orbit. And vice versa. There's so many times where I don't want to do something. And Brian's like, I need you to do this, bro. Like, I know you're busy, but I fucking need you right now. Do this. So I stop when I see him hold me to that standard and hold me accountable. I stop everything I'm doing and I pay attention and I step up for my business partner, regardless of how I feel. And you need to be operating that. Your wife should look at you like she wants to fucking tear your clothes off with her teeth. But most of you fat motherfuckers aren't rolling around like, look at me, motherfucker. Like, look at me. I'm fucking putting in that work. So like, if your wife isn't drooling over you, that's a clue. You don't even believe in yourself. Why is she going to want to believe in you? Why do your kids want to believe in you if you don't believe in you? You get what I'm saying? Fuck, I'm going off right now.
Let's answer some questions.
I shouldn't be,
We're fired up yet?
Sometimes I get going and I'm going because I don't like, we're in a time where there's so many forces pushing against us, trying to derail us, divide us, keep us broke. Fuck that. Like, we need to go. You guys are all showing up here on a Thursday because you want more.
Yeah.
More joy, more control, more happiness. I want to give it to you. But sometimes it's not just like, let me tell you how to wholesale. Sometimes it's, let me kick you in the ass and push you out of your own way for just a day or two. It might not last forever, but go. Next time I'm on here, every single person should be like, I made 2,000 calls. It took me all 2 weeks. Like, I made 1,000 calls a week. Like, it was like I dropped everything. I shut everything else off and I just got laser focused. I got obsessed. And guess what, Cody? I got 3 deals. It's like, there you go. Now we're in the motherfucking game. How many times do you not get a deal to get a deal? It's like 30-1. You're not going to get a deal 30 times and then you get a deal. But that one deal, that $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 deal changes everything. Your whole belief system shifts. And even us, like, we're grinding. We might get 6, 8, 10 deals in a month. Okay. That's one of our businesses. But that puts us well over 100K a month. Can you survive off over 100K a month in income? What would you do with an extra 100K right now? If it came in like clockwork every month and you had to make some phone calls and invest in your business, like, you got systems, you got software, you got data, you got your little phone system, and you just sat there all day long banging phones, but you made $100K a month, would you do it? Every single one of you would do it. Of course you would do it. But that's the reality of what happens in this industry. So why aren't you doing it? I sent some direct mail and it didn't work. Shut the fuck up. What do you think? Planes don't fly? Planes fly. You can't convince me planes don't fly. Direct mail works. Send more. Let's go.
That's good.
You know, sometimes.
Hey, you know what? A lot of people in the comments really needed that. And so I appreciate the fire. And hey, you know what?
Some of you are pretty big. I wouldn't be saying this to your face. Alexander looks like you can reach through this thing. And,
every time you get done with that workout, you're always happy that you did it and not mad that you did it, right? So every time that you make those 30 calls or every time that you drive that neighborhood, look, it's just the reps. And each lead, it's an algorithm, right? It's a metric system. You got to put in the reps, you got to contact people, you got to talk to people. Our boy Brent Daniels pretty much trademarked the TTP. You have got to talk to people. Great podcast with Brent Daniels on the Clever Investor Show. If you haven't checked it out on wholesaling. But let's dive into some of these questions if we could.
Fred said, thanks, bro. I needed the kick in the ass. Look, you're exactly where you're meant to be because you're getting exactly what you deserve right now. If you demand more, you're going to get more. And that's just the reality of it. Every single time I set my stand, I settle, or I'm like being like, I don't want to say lethargic, but like where I'm just kind of like accepting where I'm at and kind of getting complacent. I get more of that every single time. If not, I go backwards. But how many of you guys love that to be the underdog? That underdog energy where you're like just backs against the wall. That's when you get fired up. That's when you finally like kick into high gear and the dog in you comes out and you're like, fuck this. I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not going to sit here in this pressure cooker. Like, we're going, come on. I'm finally like internally motivated to go and do it.
Look at that. Jake Edwards on the screen. Got one in the works. Jake actually brought us a deal in Gilbert on Leah Lane.
That's right.
And what is it? $850,000 beautiful house.
Talk about it. First off, thank you, Jake, for bringing us a deal.
Jake, how much money are you set to make on this bad boy? Just bringing us a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in the comments. Yeah, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50.
So this is on YouTube. This is on the Zoom. They can't see. They can't.
But anyways, you don't have to have everything together. All you have to have is a lead on a house and then come and leverage us over at sendusthedeals.com. We'll get on the phone with your seller. We'll get a deal dispoed to you to our buyers list. You don't have to have all the systems, the CRM, know how to do acquisitions, dispositions. All you need to do is just get us a lead on a property that somebody wants to sell and they have some sort of motivation. What is qualified for motivation? There's three ways, right? Either distress, the property is in distress, the seller is in distress, whether that be financially, or maybe there was a divorce or there's a breakup or a probate or a death in the family and something needs to happen where there needs to be an event with the property. So find one of those three things and leverage all your realtors, talk to 10 realtors a day, have them talk to 10 people. That means that you just got 100 opportunities each day. Talk to 10 more realtors on Tuesday, 10 more realtors on Wednesday, have them talk to 10 people. It's a numbers game. All of a sudden you got 50 realtors talking to 10 people a day, bringing you 500 opportunities every week.
Yeah. And so just to unpack the deal that Jake brought us, because I think it's important for you guys to understand why we bought this deal. So in our personal business, we're developers, right? So we own Green Elephant Development, build beautiful $3.5 million houses. At one point, we had over 20 of them going at a single time. I don't know if any of you guys are builders or rehabbers. Building 20 houses from the ground up that are all $2.5 to $3.5 million takes an insane amount of cash flow, coordination, teams, lenders. All of this stuff has to come together to pull it off. We raised a ton of private money, have great relationships with hard money and soft money lenders. Brian's done a phenomenal job, like orchestrating all the lending and getting all the financing. And we went to work and we were building all these houses. Well, when the market pulled back last June, we stopped buying because we're like, we have too much, we got too aggressive. And whenever the market pulls back like it did, it's scary to be a builder. You can go broke really quickly when you have 20 something houses going and the economy's going like this and interest rates are going like this and buyers are the supply is going down, demand's going up, and nobody's buying because of interest rates and inflation. And so we stopped buying. The deal that Jake brought is the first deal that we actually took down since then, I believe.
July, August, that was when we kind of said, look, let's just finish out our existing properties, Airbnbs, new builds. Let's not add to it. Let's see how this shakes out. And Jake, you say 20K, that's what you're making up front. You're also getting the listing on the back end plus another 30K if we hit our numbers.
Let's just talk about how we structure it. So Jake we've done a deal with him in the past.
Yep.
Okay. So he had a previous relationship with us. He saw me at the gym. We talked again. And then he was like, I told him, hey, get back with Bryant. If you ever have a deal, bring it by Bryant. He floated a deal by us. Okay. He's a real estate agent and a wholesaler. And he floated a deal by us. And he said, hey, I got a relationship. This is an inherited property situation. It's in Gilbert, Arizona. It's a phenomenal looking deal. I think we can get it for a decent price, but my seller needs to get a certain amount. You want to come look at the deal? We went and looked at the deal. It's a perfect remodel, right? In a perfect area that has low days on market, very high demand. These are a little bit older homes, like is it an acre or 3/4 acre?
Yeah.
3/4 acre, something like that.
No HOA, multiple exit opportunities, whether it be Airbnb, short-term rental, whatever we want to do or sell.
It's a multiple story property and it's just perfect. And so we worked out a deal to buy the property, and for him bringing us the deal, we paid him a $20,000 fee for him bringing us the deal. And we cut him in on the back end that if we sell it for 1.4 million, which is our target back end. Okay. If we get anywhere near 1.4 million, we'll kick him in another 30 G's. So he has the potential to make $50,000 with us by just bringing us a deal.
And we offer
guaranteed 20, potentially 50. You see how we structured it? Because we want to incentivize our deal finders, the people that bring us deals. We want them to make money. We're going to make a ton of money on this deal if we execute properly. Now, the house is a major remodel. We'll spend 200 grand on this remodel for sure. But there's still plenty of meat on the bones for everybody to make money. Okay. So sometimes instead of, of course, Jake wants all 50 grand up front, but as investors, we got to get a little creative. We got to be like, okay, listen, I understand you want to make 50K. The only way to make that happen is guaranteed 20. But if we hit our numbers, you get the rest. You guys see how we did it? And that way, now Jake's already thinking, I got to go find these guys another deal.
Well, he's actually thinking like a real estate investor. And he's like, how do I take my profits and roll it into another deal with you, whether it be multifamily or a fix and flip, because he doesn't want the 50K to just go buy shit. He wants to just do the next deal with us. And he's also going to be able to hang out and see what we transform and how we did design and how we run our contractors and how the process works and how we have an inspector there first thing Monday morning doing a sewer scope and a full inspection, how we already have the French modern contemporary, look for the design and how we're working with everybody. So there's learning that goes into it too. All I'm saying is that you don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to have a lead on a property and or talk to realtors and have them bring you opportunities. Then work with guys like us. And we work nationwide, guys. It's not just Arizona.
By the way, we're doing this on two sides. At our deal exchange meetup, a girl showed up there who I met at a booty blaster class. Don't ask why I was at a booty blaster class, but I was, and I met her there. And she's a real estate agent, and she was talking to me, and she goes, I really want to get into rehabbing and fixing and flipping. And Cody, you're the man. So how can I get involved? And I said, I don't know. And she goes, well, I got 250 grand saved. Can I get involved? So I said, get with Bryant, because that's my MO, right? I don't have time. Get with Bryant, build a relationship, and let's see if we can find a project. So she's bringing 250 grand. She gets to show up as like a student watching the entire process go through. We used her 250 grand to get into a hard money loan to pay cash for the property. Now we're into it for nothing. Okay. We'll eventually have to put up a couple hundred grand in if we need to. We're prepared to do that. But we might be able to pull this off with none of our own money in the deal. She brought the money. We leveraged her money to buy the property. Jake brought the property. He cut himself on both sides. She's learning. He's learning. Everybody's winning in this transaction. And we're going to end up building a really dope house. We're going to lift the comps in the neighborhood. And I bet you we walk away with what? 175 grand in profit, something like that. By the time we're done, she's going to get, how much did we tell her she's going to get?
25%.
She's going to get 25% of the profits, right? So she's going to turn her money over in a fairly safe investment in a great area of town and learn along the way. So those of you guys that have lazy money laying around and you want to put it to work, find your own team like this in your local area so you can show up on the job site and figure out what the hell's going on.
Bottom line is people in the comments were like, teach me how to beg for money. First, you don't ever beg for money. You DM everybody in your social channels. You go live, you talk about, hey, if you're interested in investing in a real estate and having any extra money that you'd like to get double-digit returns on, please feel free to contact me on my next opportunity. I have multiple opportunities that we're currently working on that may be a good fit. And then ultimately build that interested list. And then when you have an opportunity, bring it to them as an opportunity, not as, hey, I got a deal, I need money. You never need money. You need to be able to bring the opportunity to people that have already raised their hand and said, hey, when you got a deal, I have money. Then put them on ice, right? Dia was on ice for how long with Cody? Now, the first time is, oh, you got a deal. She's ready to go. She was like, not even like,
we didn't need her money. So of course, I'm not going to take her money until we really have a great project. So she's been asking me for months, like, can I get involved? Can I get involved? No, I don't have anything good for you. I'm not going to put you in a shitty deal. Once we got a good deal, it was like, go time, baby. And by the way, I want to say, that's Alice on YouTube said, I needed to get chewed out, Cody. I'm going to put in that work and I'm going to let you know my results next week. So that's phenomenal. And then everybody else said that they're now going to start networking at the Booty Blaster class, which I think is a great networking. If we're going to go to anything, screw going to the realtor convention. Fuck that. We're going to the Booty Blaster class and get some private money.
Well, that's pretty funny stuff. I like it.
All right. What is
some people are asking about IRAs.
Yeah. What is ICE? ICE is just basically saying that we don't have a good project for you right now. You got to wait, right? The key with private lending, and I'll let you get to that in a second. I didn't mean to cut you off. The key with private lending is you are always raising money, especially when you don't need it. Every year when we file our taxes at the end of the year, because we always make more money than the last year, we go back to all of our banking relationships and increase our lines of credits. We are always increasing lines of credit. All right, we have $1 million, we need $1.5 million. This bank, we have 300K, we need 500K. You do that for when you do need it. You don't do that when you need it. Banks are slow. They're a pain in the ass to work with. You got to keep building that business credit with a bunch of different banks, local banks, big banks, regional banks, credit unions, all the time. Because if you do that, you're going to have the credit with them built up over time. It takes years. It took us 5 years to build it up to the point. And in the beginning, we had to collateralize everything. Right? They don't want to give you any money. So we had to collateralize buildings and assets and all kinds of stuff. But over time, then it got easier and easier and easier. And every year they knew we were going to call. We need another 500K.
If you're looking for a line of credit for your business, go to codysconnections.com and go ahead and scroll down to the Prime Corporate Services. You can set up your LLCs there. You can get lines of credit. There's guidelines that say new businesses are required and to be able to have $50,000 as a line of credit to start your business. So please take advantage of that kind of stuff. There's always opportunities to be adding, additional revenue through raising money and opportunities just by talking to people. So,
yeah. For the guy who asked about clever swag, I'll make you a deal right now. For any of you guys watching, if you want clever apparel, I will give it to you in exchange for a positive review on my podcast.
boom.
Super simple transaction, right? I'm going to ethically bribe you guys. If you listen to my podcast and you love it, you just go to Spotify or you go to iTunes and you look up the Clever Investor Show. All of you should be subscribing. All of you should be listening, downloading, and all of you should leave me a 5-star review. And take a screenshot of it and email it to support@cleverinvestor.com, and I will mail you some swag. So just give me take a screenshot of it. I left you a review, and then give me your address and your shirt size and all that shit, whether you're male or female, and then we'll send you out some swag.
And also, if you're local and you want to come to our,
and if you didn't get it real fast, somebody said, I already did it. Did you get it? I don't know if we got it or not because I don't work in support. However, I will make sure that I ask on the team meeting and everybody gets what they did. As long as you prove that you left the review, I know as of right now, I'm just going to total it up because this is going to be pretty simple for me to see whether or not this works. Right now, I have 292 reviews on iTunes. So I should have 400 reviews by the time you guys are done working. All right. So just all go do that. And then I'll send you a bunch of cool swag.
Yeah, I know a guy if you need to make some more merchandise.
You know a guy?
So anyways, if you guys are local, some of you guys have got to be in Arizona. There's 197 on YouTube, another couple hundred over here. Come to dealexchangemeetup.com. Go there and come next Thursday at 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. We have a special deal exchange meetup. If you have a deal, you can submit it at Deal Exchange Meetup, and we will pitch it in front of all the fix and flippers and all the real estate agents and all the landlord buyers, at the event.
But this next one's special because it's coming off the wholesaling Olympics or whatever, Closer
100%.
Olympics.
So we're partnered up with closersolympics.com, and Max Jimenez is going to be talking about sales process and just amazing live seller calls that he's got in his closers lab. And then we also have David Olds, who runs one of the largest transaction coordination businesses in all of the country, coming in, talking about creative finance and TC and how to make sure that your files get to the finish line successfully. So we have 2 experts in their field. We also have a $50 off coupon for closerolympics.com, July 27th, 28th, and 29th. Some of the best direct-to-seller acquisition agents and coaches. Brett Daniels coaching, RJ Bates is coaching. We got Elijah Rubin as a coach. Some of the best acquisition strategy people on the planet are going to be live for 3 days, locking up deals, getting scored on their creative acquisition strategy, the finding the motivation.
They posted the link, dealexchangemeetup.com.
Yep.
Unfortunately, guys, and this is here in Arizona at our office,
3 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
So here's the thing. I'm not going to be there. I have a wedding I got to go to. And so I'm going to be gone. I leave Thursday morning to go to North Carolina.
But I will be there.
But
we'll hold it down.
Big B will be there. Big B.
Soon to be Little B.
Yeah, we're going to make him into half the man he currently is. We're working on it.
I'm on my 3rd day on my juice cleanse right now. So it's a lot of work.
You ever meet somebody whose idea of dieting is like eating soup?
Just going through a little.
You're like,
eating
cleanse, soup dude. Is not a diet, dude.
Just resetting. Calm down. All right.
Good times. All right, let's answer some questions. We got 15 minutes left. Let's answer some questions from you guys. Hey, good job, Jordan. He said, I did a sub-2 deal 1 month after my cancer stem cell treatments, lined it up from the hospital bed.
Boom.
If I can do it, so can you. If somebody can do a freaking real estate transaction, let alone a creative finance transaction in their hospital bed, you could do it in your dress PJs, in your comfort of your little home, okay, by banging the phones.
You know what? Shout out to Jordan, man. Jordan's been through so much. Jordan's another guy that brought us a deal. We flipped a deal and he made another, I think, 17 to 20,000 bucks on it. So look, if he can do it, he fought cancer, he beat cancer. He's back on the hospital bed again after beating cancer. And he's still on this live getting deals done, talking about how to make money and not making excuses. So guys, seriously, just put the excuses away. Small steps, momentum. You'll feel better after the workout. You'll feel better after the calls. You'll feel better after driving the neighborhood.
So is it Yamilet Hernandez? I'm in Phoenix. I need help locking up a pre-foreclosure. She doesn't qualify for a loan mod. She just wants to sell.
Let's go.
All right. So
sendusthedeals.com.
Yeah, go to
put it in right now.
Go to sendusthedeals.com, put it in. We have no problem going out on the appointment with you. My beginning of this business was all pre-foreclosure. So that's how I cut my teeth. I probably sat at 2,000 kitchen tables, knocking on doors, trying to go into people's houses while they're in foreclosure and convince them to sell me the house. I had and this, I'm not recommending you do this. First off, step one is learn your state's foreclosure rules. A lot has changed since I was doing it. So you got to learn the rules, right? Some states are judicial, some states are non-judicial. What that means is the foreclosure process is different in like 20 of the states and different in 30 of the states. So like you got to know your state's process. The way it works here in Arizona is when somebody stops making a payment, normally the bank lets you go 2 or 3 months before they file what's called a notice of default. That notice of default is the first public document that gets filed that publicly states that you are in default and you are not paying your mortgage. At that point, exactly 91 days later, your property goes to foreclosure auction. The night before it goes to auction, the opening bid is released. Legally, it has to be 24 hours in advance. So what we would do is there's phases, right? So it's like, can I get to them when they're just starting to miss their payments? Well, how do you find people when there's no public records of when they're just missing their payments? That's more of like a shotgun approach, right? You're going to farm an area and you're going to send out, are you behind on payments, postcards and stuff like that? And you're just kind of blanket marketing certain people. Once that notice of default is filed, now we can pull that data. That data is inside the deal automator. So if you do not have the AI real estate system, go to airealestatesystem.com. Watch it, buy it. That's the tool we use, right? It's powered by artificial intelligence. So airealestatesystem.com. That data is in there. You pull the foreclosure data and you contact them. You either skip trace them and call them, or you send out mailers that are pre-foreclosure mailers. Or if you pull local data, you get a list of you export the list, you get the list of addresses, okay? You put it into your little Google Maps, you build a drive, like a loop, try to figure out, we used to use a different, what's the software? Foreclosure shark. Fuck. I'll think of it. There's a software you can upload all the addresses in and it'll build your drive, right? And so now you know the best route to hit up all the foreclosures. And I would literally drive around. I'd have my leave behinds, which is like who I am, what we do, and what options does the seller have. Okay. These are my like cheat sheets, AKA leave behinds. Because sometimes you knock on a door and they don't answer. Why don't they answer? They don't answer because you're the 700th person to come knock on their door. You're like a bill collector to them. They hate you. They want to kill you. They want nothing to do with you. So sometimes they don't answer and you just stick it in the door or you slide it underneath and they read it and they go, all right, I'm going to call this person. I was creative because I saw everybody else. What we would all do is I'd roll up and there'd be like somebody else's leave behind there and I'd take it and crumble it up and throw it in the garbage and I'd stick mine in there. Right. And then the next guy would walk up and take mine and crumble it up and throw it away and stick his in there. And it was like a game of like, who can like get lucky. So what I did is I printed out big, oversized cardboard paper posters that said, please do not disturb residents. We have the situation handled. There's a baby inside. Please do not knock. And I would tape it to the fucking door. On the back of it was my leave behind, right? So on the back was all the options. And I said, I hope this gives you some peace. I also want to help you with your home. Call me if you don't have this figured out. I would get a ton of calls that way because people were like, thank God you stuck that on my door, because my number of people bothering me went down to like 2%. So I just thought different, like a marketer. So they would call me. I'd drive over, I'd go in, or they would answer the door when I got there. And I would work my way into the house, and I would give them one of four options. I will loan you money, right? It was like my keep your home program. I would loan you money if you qualify, okay? But you have to have a job and you have to have a certain amount of income. None of these motherfuckers ever qualified for that, right? That's why they're in foreclosure. So option one's done. Option two is I'll pay cash for your house. Option three is we could do a loan mod or a short sale or something like that. And option four is I buy your house, lease option it back to you so you can stay in it, and you can buy it back from me at a profit in the future. Okay? Therefore, keeping your equity, except for the part that you got to pay me. That's the one I don't recommend, because that's like really aggressive. That's like Cody Sperber aggressive shit. I don't recommend it because out of every 50 I did, I got sued one time. And so I would get into lawsuits all the time. I would always win, but it's hard to be in a lawsuit with a homeowner that's in foreclosure. It's just not a good look. You don't really want to do it. And what was happening is I would stop the foreclosure by paying their arrearages. I would have them sign a couple of documents. One of them gave me the ability to talk to their bank. It was I don't remember the name of the document, but it allowed me to talk to their bank on their behalf. I would get their payoffs, get their arrearages, get the late fees and all that stuff. It would be like $14,000. I would have the seller sign a purchase and sale agreement with me. I would literally call their bank with them or fax over this thing, get on the phone with their bank, find out the payoff, wire the money the next day, stop the foreclosure, close and record the purchase literally at the kitchen table. I would call a mobile notary. I would not even go through title. I would literally, a mobile notary would show up. They would quit claim deed me the house on the spot. I would end up now, I own the home. Okay. This is really like gangster shit. I would own the home. Then I would sign a rental agreement with an option for them to buy it back from me within 12 months for a $25,000 increase in whatever I bought it from them for, plus my arrearages.
Was it a limited power of attorney?
No. It was authorization to release loan information.
So guys,
But real fast, you guys, are you tracking what I'm saying? Like, this is how aggressive I was in the beginning. This is like the Wild West of foreclosures. I'm knocking, I'm talking my way in. I'm showing them the options. They pick the one I want. None of them wanted to leave. They all wanted to stay. So they would pick the buy my house, but then rent it back to me, and I'll have the ability to buy it back. And I would close it with a mobile notary and a quick claim deed at the kitchen table. That's how aggressive I was. And guess what? Within 3 months, 90% of them defaulted on making me a rent payment. And I would end up having to evict them and take over their house. It's really aggressive. However, it worked. And we bought 1,000 houses that way. So the foreclosure game is an aggressive game. It's not for everybody. I probably wouldn't, if I went back, I probably wouldn't even offer them that, knowing what I know now. I probably would just hit them with the truth and say, I would rather pay you more for you to leave and just be done. That way, we're not going to get into this deal where you can't afford a house. And now I'm the bad guy. Because I promise you this one thing. They will get amnesia the second you stop the foreclosure auction. They're going to forget every word you said. They're not going to care about any deal they made with you. And the sweet old lady who was like loving you, going, I'm so happy you saved my home for foreclosure and I get to stay in it and the foreclosure's tomorrow, but I don't have to get evicted and move. 3 days later, she's going to be like, I thought you gave me a loan. And you're gonna be like, no, remember the notary that came over and the contract you signed and the thing we recorded and the rental agreement you signed? And she's gonna be like, no, I don't remember any of that. And sweet old lady's gonna become devil lady, and she's gonna sue the shit out of you. And she's gonna have a good position, right? Because you're a big bad investor.
Just make sure if you're dealing with those situations that you say, is it okay if we record this? I just want to make sure that we're having everything documented.
And that's what I ended up doing. I would literally have a tape recorder and I'd put it right in the middle of the table and I'd say, every word we're about to say is recorded. Right. And as soon as we signed, I took pictures of her and then I said, hey, give me a testimonial video of what just happened here. Ready, go.
Because I want to answer some of these questions because it was a Q&A and we got a little bit of time left and there's so many great questions.
Yeah, scroll back.
Can you scroll back up? And we're going to do rapid fire. We're going to do 60-second or less answers because there's so many good ones. Keep going up. Honestly, I saw so many that we just gotta.
Badger mapping is good.
Keep going
Somebody
up.
said Badger mapping is good for mapping software.
Keep going up.
Yeah,
awesome.
cool.
Let's start right here. All right. So the first question is going to be.
No, scroll down. She already did that one. That's the one I answered.
Okay.
All right. Slow down, dude.
How do we send you deals at the same platform as do deals with me?
Yeah,
Send to Dave.
same platform. How soon would you get paid once an offer is submitted and accepted? You get paid when the deal closes. Just like everybody. This isn't like we're not doing things on hope.
That's
it's
like
like
7 to 10 days is normal close time for a wholesale deal.
Yeah.
So a couple weeks. Next question. What if I'm not in contract with the seller and give you a deal? How do we start with the seller in Arizona?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
Read that one.
Go ahead and answer it.
What if I'm not in contract with the seller and I give you the deal? How do we start with the seller in Arizona? Start with you first, or do we get in contact with the seller first? I have the AI. I just joined. All right, cool. Carlton. So check this out. It's real simple. You're going to go into the deal automator. You're going to pull a list and you're going to have to be playful with it. You pull a list based on intuition of what you're trying to do. So like maybe the list I pull is high equity, out-of-state owners, properties built after 1985, but not any newer than 2010. And I would maybe vacant, something like that. Like you can be a little playful with like what you include in that bucket, but whatever bucket you create, then you're going to sort by AI score. And you're going to contact the owners of those properties that have the highest AI scores, because a higher AI score means that they have a higher probability and propensity of selling at a discount. Then you're going to skip trace and call them. You're going to send them mail, or you're going to go knock on their door. And you're going to get a hold of them and you're going to talk to them. And after you have some conversations and you identify, yes, they want to sell. Yes, they're motivated. Yes, they're willing to get an offer. Let's say that's as far as your skills can take you because you're new. You can submit just that lead. I talked to a seller. They're interested in selling. I'm ready. They're ready to go. I don't know what to do next. I don't know how to negotiate, make an offer, put it under contract. I don't know anything. You can submit that in the private deal portal. We will take it from there. You get 15% when we close the deal because we have to do all the work. Yes, you use the software. Yes, you made initial contact, but you really didn't negotiate or get a deal or any of that stuff. We have to step in and use our knowledge, our resources to do that. We get 85%, you get 15%. Simple. Our goal, though, is to train you up so you get to a point where you're like, I don't want 15%. I want 50%. And how you get 50% is you contact them, you build rapport with them, you negotiate, you get it under contract. Now you can call us and say, hey, I think this is the price I'm going to get it under contract for. And we'll go, that's perfect. You get it under contract for that price, we can move it. So we can help guide you along your journey. But you putting the property fully under contract by yourself, where you control it now, then you assign it over to us. We sell it to our buyers.
Which we prefer. We prefer
Yes.
to pay you 50%. versus the other alternative of 15 and 85 because of all that extra work that goes into it. So,
And you learn. Our goal is for you to eventually not need us. Like, I'd love to do 3, 5, 10 deals with you. And then one day you're like, I don't need you anymore. I'm going to go make 100% of the money. So it's just like baby stepping your way into this business, like where maybe you're not comfortable doing it all in the beginning. We'll help you. But if you just,
all right, guys,
real quick, yeah, real quick. If you just submit a lead and you've never talked to the seller and you're like, Cody, why don't I have any money? How come you're not paying me? It's like, because you don't have an opportunity here, right? You're just clogging up the system. We only are a small team. We only have so many resources. And if you're submitting junk to us, then you're not going to make money. The system's going to get clogged, and somebody that has a real deal isn't getting attended to because you submitted some shit.
guys,
So, you get what I'm saying?
Who got some value out of today's power hour? Show of hands. Let's give it a 1. Who wants an encore for 10 minutes to answer more Q of A? Show of 1. If we get 10 people.
Oh, look, what are you doing to me? You're killing me.
Okay.
The fuck?
We're going 10 more minutes.
I gotta
Back up to the
go. I
Q
gotta
and A.
go.
I'll handle it. Go
Yeah,
back.
get out of here. Real quick. I do want to, thank you guys. I'm glad you guys got some value. I do want to let you know, we are closing down our raise
Yep.
for our 432 unit property that we're purchasing.
Yep.
So if you guys have been following me, watching any of our stuff, Vina Jetty brought a deal to us that we're partnering on. That is a 432 unit Class B institutional grade property, apartment building in Arcadia, which is in a really great pocket in the Phoenix market, right up against Scottsdale. It's a wonderful opportunity because we are assuming a 2.95% interest rate for 12 years. 7 years of it is interest only. It's got a 4, I just looked this up.
4.45.
It's got a 4.25 cap rate. Okay.
Invest.
All 432 units need renovated. We think we can increase rents $220 per month across the board or more. This is an opportunity for accredited investors. So if any of you guys are accredited, do you guys know what what qualifies you as accredited? Accredited means that you have a net worth of $1 million, not including your personal residence, or you've made 200 grand a year, 200 grand a year for the last 2 years in the row, and you have an expectation of making 200 grand again, or you took a test and you're not a dipshit, right? So that you have to prove that you're accredited. Okay. Once you prove you're accredited, you can invest as little as $50,000 into this asset. So if you go to investwithcody.com, we have a little 20-minute webinar that shows you pictures and the team. Where people win with multifamily is you take great operators with great financing, you pair it with a great project, and you win. If you have shitty operators and shitty financing and a great project, you lose, right? You have to have all three for this to work. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. If you have money in your IRA, if you have money under your mattress, if your grandmama got money and it's lazy money and it's not earning her good returns, we expect to own this thing for max 5 years. Okay, we don't want to hold it. We might have to if for some reason we're just killing it and it's murdering it and we want to hold it longer, but we plan on holding it for 3 to 5 years and selling it. So we're going to renovate the units, increase the rents, fix the place up and then sell it. And the reason this is going to work is because we have this great financing that we're assuming. Now, for those of you that are new to multifamily, it is very difficult to assume this is a $131 million purchase. It is extremely difficult to assume an $80 million mortgage. I don't know if you've ever tried to get a $400,000 mortgage, but they crawl up your ass and ask you for documents this big. Imagine trying to borrow $80 million. Freddie Mac brings in a team of investigators and they rip you apart. For us to qualify for that, that means that we have to have $80 million in liquidity plus 10 to 30 or 20 to 30% in reserves of 80 million. So like $27 million in reserves. We are very qualified. We are buying this asset by the end of July. That means we have like 10 to 12 days left before we're closing this thing out. So if you have ever wanted to own real estate with us, if you've ever wanted to put money into multifamily so you can go around to everybody, and I highly recommend anybody that should do this, because we will go out to the project when it's not 120 degrees outside, and we will take videos and pictures and create content around us owning a big boy apartment project together. And all your friends and family are going to look at you and be like, holy shit, you bought a 432 unit apartment building? You're like, yeah, I did. It's awesome. And you're going to get good tax benefits. You're going to get a great 6% pref. You're going to get great cash flow and returns. And we're going to sell this thing. And our projected profit is going to give you probably a 1.85 times return on your money on a conservative level. That's projected. So all the information, so you can see the pretty pictures and see everything written out and break it all down, see who the team is, and make a decision, is on the other side of investwithcody.com. Here's my thing, guys. If you're not an accredited investor, don't go there, because you're just going to fill out everything and we're going to get all excited like you're going to invest in this project, and you're not even able to invest in the project. Right? I'd rather have it after we're done. If you guys want to learn how we did what we did and how we set up the fund and how we raised the money and how the project went down, I'd rather get Vina on a call and us just break it down for you as like an education thing, rather than you going and clogging up our investing portal.
Yeah, or just put non-accredited, you know, in the notes. And
Okay.
we'll know that you checked everything out. We want you to watch the webinar. We want you to learn. We want you to go through the offering memorandum. It is a great investment. 100K is pro forma to turn into $185,000. That's a 17% IRR, you guys. That is awesome. That is not 8% a year. That's 17% a year internal rate of return. Plus, you're going to get that K1 on the losses your first year and depreciation against your W-2 and taxable income. And you own a share of 432 units. And it just catapults you into, you know, the next opportunities with us, and you're in the Good Boys Club. And we encourage you to put 50K in it. If you're accredited, it'll be one of those great investments where you don't need to worry about us refinancing later. And is the, you know, lending going to change? You know, the person that buys this in 5 years is also going to be able to assume the remaining 7 years left on this 12-year loan assumption. So
This is
great
a
opportunity.
golden deal. We're super excited.
Vina only did one deal this year, and this was it.
Yeah.
And this is going to put her over $1 billion in management. And this is in our backyard, guys. This is 15 minutes from our office. We're GC. We're going to be checking out the project. We're going to be boots on the ground.
Yep. And somebody said, Shree said, I have a question for you, Cody. I follow you on Instagram. That's awesome. Do the rest of you guys follow me on Instagram? What's up with that? Linda, you better follow me on Instagram, Linda. She said, I follow you on Instagram. I want to make sure you mentioned that you guys are jumping hard into commercial. Does that mean you're leaving us all behind and we're not doing single family any longer? What happens to us lonely wholesalers? I'm never going to stop wholesaling. We're always going to do residential too. I'm just leaning heavy into commercial because I'm turning 45 this year and I want to get rich. I'm like, I got to go faster. So I'm forcing myself out of our little comfort zone. I've done this. I've done it. I've done thousands of houses. I've done everything under the sun. Like, I'm not excited anymore. Like, I don't get real estate chub like I used to. I used to get real estate chub. Like every day I'd come into the office. I'm like, dude, I feel good today. What deal am I going to do today? Like, I don't even get excited anymore. You know, you guys, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Unless you're doing these bigger deals with bigger partners,
yes,
and putting yourself in the place that
now it's exciting because I'm like a sophomore again, trying to figure things out. And it's fun because it's like, oh wow, I got to learn what cap rate is. I got to learn how to read a trailing 12. I got to understand where the financing comes from and how to set up a fund. I got to learn
what a rubs is.
I got to learn how to do land entitlement. right? And now we're talking with like McDonald's and Hilton and these gas stations and all this stuff because we're developing land from the ground up. It's like I could go build a house and make 400 grand, or I could go build a Hilton, a gas station, a McDonald's, and a coffee shop and make 9 million. Same amount of time, massive difference in results. And it's like, I know I have the building blocks to do it. I have the personal brand. This is why you guys just need to mirror everything that I do. I have the personal brand so I can raise the capital, right?
Actually, there's a place, if you're accredited and you don't want a 5-year hold and multifamily is not for you, go to clevercapitalfund.com. We pay double-digit returns, 10, 11, 12% for just a short 1-year, 2-year, or 3-year commitment. So feel free to check out clevercapitalfund.com and you can learn along the way. We're actually working on a 67-acre development program. So you can learn.
We got a 67-acre. We got a 5.5-acre development that we're doing the hotel and the gas station, all that stuff on. We got the 432 unit that we're cranking on. And we're going to start building bigger houses. We're done building $3.5 million houses. We're going to build a $13 million house. Like I want to build a house where at the end of it, I make $4 million on a build. Like I don't want to do the little stuff anymore. It's not worth it for us because we did it for the last 5 years and we dominated and we did it well. Now it's just constantly elevating. So hopefully that answered your question, because I want you guys to mirror what we're doing. It's like you start with wholesaling, you learn the language, you build the network, you get the confidence, you go into renovating. You start renovating, then you're like, fuck it, I don't want to remodel houses because it's a lot of unknowns and risks. I'm just going to build it. I'm going to tear it down and build a house from the ground up. All right, I've done the building game. I'm making too much money. I need to keep more of these. I'm doing the creative in order to bypass banks and I'm building a portfolio. And now I have that. We tried Airbnbs. Some of our Airbnbs crushed. Some of them sucked horrible. And so it's like, there's good and bad with each one of these niches. Our way is like, let's go try it. Let's go buy 30 Airbnbs and see how it feels. It doesn't feel good. So we're like, fuck these Airbnbs. We're out of Airbnbs. Get rid of these Airbnbs. We're going over into the big boy shit. So it's like, that's the evolution of an investor. It's like you try things. Maybe you love Airbnbs. Maybe you're in an area where travel is constant. Like I would love our Airbnbs if they were booked all the time. Nobody wants to come to hell in the middle of summer here in Phoenix, Arizona. Like I can't give our Airbnb rooms away right now because it's 190 degrees outside. So there's, you learn these by going through it, and that's it. And now our ultimate goal is to use other people's money, not pay taxes, and 10x our income. So that way we can retire.
And that should be all your guys' goals too. Yeah. Honestly, it doesn't have to be big. It's just start small, but use leveraging other people's money, be a real investor, right? Don't just use your own cash for everything because you can't have leverage. You can't have scalability. You're constantly stressed out. Even Jerome's coming in here on Friday and our boy over there is like, man, we're going to start getting other people's money in capital so that we don't have to always feel like we're a $15 millionaire that's broke, right? It's always about how you feel.
By the way, there's a misconception that just because you make a lot of money that you're just sitting on a lot of money. There's not a day that goes by we're not stressed about cash flow. Just think about that. Like no matter what level you're at, you're stressed about cash, right? Like there's always more month at the end of the money. And so it's like that never ends. You just get better at putting the money in the right things. And so I'd rather stress out by putting my money into a $12 million project that's going to make me $6 million on the back end than in a smaller deal. So push yourself to think bigger. So that way, if you're going to be stressed, you might as well be stressed on the right things. My ultimate goal every time I level up is how do I take on bigger problems? I know they're not going away. I'm going to have to deal with this forever. There's probably never going to be a time I'm just sitting on crazy money, because if I have money, my first instinct as an investor is to go buy an asset.
No.
All right, like let's deploy it and get this thing, my little soldiers working for me.
Yeah, inflation will kill you if it's just sitting in the bank. So got to put it to work. But hey, guys, honestly, an hour and 14 minutes. We had a blast. We will see you in a couple weeks.
Go do the review. I'll send you some swag. Investwithcody.com, CodysConnections.com. AIrealestatesystem.com. That's the links that we shared on today's REI Power Hour. Thank you, B, for coming on once again. Thank you guys for hanging out. Love you guys. And we'll see you guys in 2 Thursdays from now.
Cody Sperber, signing off.
We're out of here.
Take care.
Take care. Comb your hair. Peace.